Grand Rising and welcome to Sunday Rising with Taima. The intention of Sunday Rising is to plant seeds that expand consciousness as well as offer tools and encouragement for the week ahead. My journey to the volcano began in Tucson, at the Roadrunner Hostel. Something inside of me had been wanting to move away for some time. I was inspired by the book Sacred Journey of a Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, and I genuinely felt that my soul was calling me to Hawaii. As a work trader at the Roadrunner Hostel, I was on a morning shift, tending to an endless pile of laundry. I stuck my hand in my pocket and pulled out a handful of quarters as best as I could, but my arms were fumbling with a large load of blankets, sheets, towels, and pillowcases. I managed to fetch a bunch of quarters, but one fell out of my hand and did the normal coin dance that happens when a coin drops to the floor. It rolled across the floor until it lost momentum and finally dropped to its side. When the quarter hit the ground, it was as if everything stopped for a moment, and I felt very strongly I should pay attention to what the quarter was telling me. I took note of that feeling, but I decided to finish what I was doing before I retrieved it. When I finally went to collect the quarter, I realized that it was a Hawaii Volcano State quarter. When I picked it up, I had full body chills and I knew that Pele was calling me to the island. I slid the quarter back into my pocket and I continued about my duties. I headed down the hallway toward a utility closet that I opened every day several times a day. Only this time, when I opened the small metal doors, I saw something that I subconsciously saw every day come into full focus for the first time. It was a magnet of the island of Kauai. I interpreted this experience as a message from Pele, and she was saying, "Come stay on Kauai, but stop on the Big Island first to pay me a visit at the volcano." In less than a month, I was out of my hometown and en route to Hawaii. One of the people I arrived in Hawaii with was an elder shaman mentor, and he would accompany me on my pilgrimage to visit Pele at the volcano. We slept in Kalapana when we arrived on the island and began to hitchhike 43 miles to the volcano the next day. The entire journey to the volcano was a moment-to-moment reflection of my point of attraction. It started out fun and adventurous, but I didn't realize how far we were traveling, and I wasn't used to the tropical elements. I was soon hot, burnt by the sun, dehydrated, hungry, and exhausted. We must have received 5 or more rides before we were even in the vicinity of the volcano. And once we began getting closer, catching rides became more challenging. After traveling for hours with no supplies, only a gallon of water, and having no luck at attracting a ride, I felt myself beginning to give up. I closed my eyes and began to communicate with Pele from my heart. I had been walking alongside of the road, but I stopped where I was, closed my eyes, and I said, "Pele, the main reason I'm coming to Volcano is to visit you. I'm exhausted, and I'm about to give up. If you really want me to make it to the volcano, please send me a ride now." I opened my eyes and saw a bus pulling off the road in front of me that read Volcano on the top. There was no bus stop in sight, and I knew the bus was an answered prayer from Pele. The bus driver opened the doors, and I got on the bus, completely wiped out of all my energy and vital nutrients. Apparently, the bus ride cost $2. My mentor was an elder, so he rode for free. But I didn't have any money on me, so I turned away to get off the bus. Mind you, I had just spent all my money getting to Hawaii on a leap of faith and was now living moment to moment. Right as I was about to exit the bus, the driver stopped me, gestured that I stay on the bus, and said, "Come on, pay it forward." As we got closer to the volcano, I began to feel Pele's flames on my energetic body. It felt cathartic, and the feeling increased as I got closer. By the time I got off the bus, I was physically shaken up. My mentor and I continued on foot and wandered off the beaten path to commune with the goddess in private. He packed his ceremonial tobacco pipe in her honor and began puffing smoke into the air and dancing in a circle. I witnessed his ceremony and I sat on the ground and began to cry. The kinetic energy I felt was shaking me to the core and quite frankly freaking me out. In tears and on the ground, I began to talk to Pele again. "I'm here, and I can feel you. What are you trying to tell me?" I asked. "Thank you for coming. I'm happy to see you. You are my sister as part of the feminine divine. I'm grateful to have your presence on the island. I want to co-create with you and many of your friends, but if you're going to make it here on island, you're going to have to do one thing. Get rid of your poverty consciousness. My islands are abundant and ever-giving, and in order to be in alignment with living here, you too must be bountiful and sovereign in your thinking and being. It's part of the aloha spirit to give and receive generously to and from all life on the Aina." I received her message and intended to integrate changes within myself immediately. I sat in reverence, thanking her for inviting me and communicating with me. The journey back to Kalapana that night was long, dark, and cold. I was exhausted, and even as I journeyed through the dark, the unknown, a level of worry was lifted from me. Everything was so dark, I'm not even sure how people were able to see us on the side of the road. I held up my lighter when a car would pass by in hopes that they would see the tiny flame. Again, we caught several rides, and in between rides, we walked under the stars in silence, listening to the coqui frogs. Eventually, a red sports car with 2 young women inside pulled up beside us. They told us they were going to Uncle Robert's in Kalapana, which is where we were staying. As we got into the back seat of our final ride for the evening, I noticed a Mother Mary air freshener hanging on the rearview mirror. I smiled in gratitude, acknowledging that the goddess was with us every step of the way. What belief systems do you still operate within that inhibit you from living your personal sovereignty? Which belief systems get in the way of you knowing what you're worth and what you're capable of? This week, spend some time communing with yourself and your guides to get to the bottom of these answers. Write this conversation down. Once you know what's inhibiting you, make a commitment to let those things go and embrace everything that supports the true and authentic you. Once you've made the commitment, opportunities will come forth, so remember to receive the opportunities when they arise. Have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you again next time on Sunday Rising.